Dear students of MA second semester, as you know that I have already given two lectures, introductory lectures on John Keats. Today I am going to take explanation of Ode on a Grecian Urn. You may see in the slide the points I have mentioned. These things I have covered already in my previous lectures. So I skip here and I directly go to the. But before this, one thing I would like to mention here that this poem is inspired by the collection of Greek sculpture which Keats saw in the British Museum. Poet observes the urn which is made up of marble, and by seeing these carvings in the museum, he by his imagination, he is there in the Greek world, art and culture of the Greek world, and he reminds the carvings that is in his mind in terms of Greek world. So the basis of the poem is the Greek art and culture, but it goes beyond that with the help of Keats's imagination. So beautifully he is talking about. So the description that he gives, it is over the surface layer of the urn. An urn, it is a kind of container in which ashes are contained. So the surface layer of the urn is having certain carvings, certain pictures, certain stories are erected there, and poet is one after another giving his description. Poet is narrating that description that is available there over the surface layer of the urn. In fact, it is happening in the mind of Keats, and it is all a product of imagination of Keats. So he is having natural affinity with the Greek art and painting. That's very apparent here. But apart from this, keep in mind that it becomes more beautiful because of the exercise of his imagination. So how it begins? Thou still unravish'd bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time, silver historian who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. So he addresses this Grecian urn as the unravished bride. So let me tell you that art and life, two aspects, art and life. Art is always considered superior to life, and if you look at the relationship between art and life, art is not completely devoid of, or it is not completely separate from life. In fact, art is having its value only when it is dependent upon life. But the difference between art and life is that art is permanent and life is temporary. Life is victim of time and change. Just as there is a poem Byzantium and Sailing to Byzantium by W.B. Yeats, and very beautifully poet is describing there the problem that art realizes. Art is having its existence only on the basis of life, and only then it is so relevant to us. Suppose that there is an art and that art has nothing to do with your life, you will not take interest in that. So here the stories that you are going, the pictures that poet's eyes, poet's mind is perceiving over the surface layer of the Grecian urn, all are important only because it is very close to us, and the kind of romantic aspect is given, the kind of kash is there, the kind of wish is there. Because of that, it becomes very beautiful. So urn is here personified, and it is personified like a bride. That somebody who has come in the role of bride, that means the most beautiful day of the life of a woman. And this urn is compared with bride, and it is unravished bride, means still untouched. The glory of Grecian urn is not diminished. The time is the time of corruption. The time is the time of jealousy, ill will, hatred. In this scenario, it is very much possible that one may be affected with the environment, but the bride is still not consummated. Bride is still untouched. In the same way, this Grecian urn is described as beautiful as a new bride. That means this art is away from time. The foster child of silence and slow time. So poet is talking again. He is personifying time, and he says that it seems that Grecian urn is like the child of the slow time. Any parents, any father is not going to use weapon over his or her. Any father or mother, they're not going to use weapon over their children. So in the same way, it appears that Grecian urn is the child of time, and this is the reason that time is not applying its scissors upon Grecian urn. That means it is not victim of change. Otherwise, life is victim of change. So there is changelessness, permanence. So poet highlights art is always superior to life, or art is permanent. Sylvan historian who cannot thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. And again, in the third line, poet is using metaphor, and he's calling to urn as Sylvan historian. So, Sylvan historian, that means the natural historian. It seems that the stories and the carving and the picture that is available there on the surface layer of the Grecian urn, some natural historian has taken paintbrush and has painted the entire story. And the music, rhythm, melody, rhyme that is perceived there in the flowery tales of the Grecian urn, it is more than a poetry. You know that when we are talking about poetry, especially romantic poetry, poetry that means lyricism, poetry that means melody, music, most rhythmical, rhyming pattern is there, symmetry is there, order is there. So what poet says that this Sylvan historian, the way it has painted entire story in a flowery way over the surface layer of the Greek urn, this urn of the Greek, it seems that it exceeds to the rhythmical quality or to the nature of rhyme of poetry, and it is more musical. And then he's just looking at the surface layer of the urn, and he just imagines that what are the pictures available there, what leaf prints legend haunts about thy shape. So he's perceiving now different images, different picture, and he says that whose picture is of this? It's of deities or of mortals or of both? Whose picture is this? God or goddesses or of mortal beings? So he's just looking at that. That means both the pictures are there. As you know that this urn is depicting the pictures from the human world, and in human world there are temples also and mortal beings also. So both the pictures are there in Temp or the Dells of Arcady, and then he is moving ahead. So he finds that picture of the valley is there. So life is here changed in the form of art. And if life is changed here in the form of art, then definitely you are going to have pictures like valleys and Arcadia. Arcadia, that means a country that is famous for its pastoral beauty. So some natural beauties and natural pictures are there, and because of that he perceived that the carvings, that pictures which are there, it appears like the Thames, that means like valley or like the pastoral beauty. And poet goes on to describe the images which his mind is perceiving over the surface layer of the Grecian urn. He says, what men or gods are these? So who are these people? Are they actually God or they are man? So who are they? And then he perceived what maidens loath. Young beautiful ladies are there, young beautiful picture of woman. So ultimately women, they are giving this temporary sense of beauty, but the aestheticism is there. By this kind of portrayal, we may say that there a kind of aesthetic joy to the eyes of a to the eyes of poet, or to the mind of the poet, because he is imagining. So the picture that is available there, so how they all are in their joyous and happy mood, and poet seeing this, poet pens down such lines: what mad pursuit, what struggle to escape, what pipes and so what mad pursuit, what struggle to escape. So you imagine that over the surface layer of the urn, pictures are carved. Some of the valleys are visible there, pastoral beauty is visible there, then picture of the human beings, maybe that god, maybe like common human being, picture of woman. And in one picture, what is visible to him, that is, the girls are there, and the girls, they are just passing through their ways, and boys are also there. So men and women both are portrayed, young men and women, and it seems that man is trying to capture the hand of the lady, as if she is going and he is stopping. You don't go, you don't go, and she's just trying to go away from the clutches of the man. So what mad pursuit, what struggle to escape. So this is an endless pursuit. This is the endless attempt which in the picture man is going to make to clutch the hand of lady, to hold the hand of lady, and this will be the endless pursuit. This will be the endless struggle of the ladies when they are going to be away from the clutches of the men. So the picture is as if the ladies are saying that छोड़ दो आंचल जमाना क्या कहेगा. So more and more trying to go away, more and more these lovers, means these men, they are clutching the hand of the lady. What is here noticeable? Art. This may happen to anyone. This is very common happening of the human life. But uniqueness of this happening here in the world of art, that never it is going to change. I will be changed, you will be changed, generation after generation will take birth and die, but what is going to be permanent? These carvings. So forever they are making pursuit to hold the hand of the ladies, and forever these ladies are trying to escape from the clutches of men. So poet says, the very 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 romantic picture here. And you know that in romantic poetry there is always timelessness, time never comes, anticipation is there. So in this picture is permanent, this picture is forever. Then poet moves ahead and he perceives pipes and timbrels. These are the musical instruments through which music is produced. So then he says, and he imagines that, oh, musicians are visible, and these musicians, they are playing so well. And what kind of music they are playing, that it creates the sense of ecstasy. Ecstasy is that delight, that joy, that happiness which is of higher nature. So music, the moment it is philosophical in nature, it becomes philosophic. So literature, philosophy and music, confluence of the three. If there is literature, and with literature there is philosophy, it will be automatically musical. If music is of philosophic nature, it is literature, and if philosophy is with music, it is also going to be literature. So that confluence, that kind of understanding takes place to the poet in listening the song of these musicians. So there is a picture of musician which poet perceives there. Now